punished him for moving up.
Yeah. And right now, it looks like we're actually going to be getting Bioice versus Aeis up as our next game. They've got a lobby already going. For some reason, I got to download something, but should be another interesting match. Bioice is now Diamond. The tables have turned.
There's that guy.
I wonder who that guy is.
I don't know.
But right now, looks like Aeis and Bioice are ready to go.
Yeah.
Oh, they gave me his.
Oh.
That works too.
Good stuff. So we're going to have yet another PVZ. Hopefully, yeah, this Zerg player better than the last one that we just saw. Much better. Handsomer too.
Oh. Wait. I feel like I've met with a terrible fate, but...
Oh well. Were they both ready?
I am not sure.
Alright. Whatever. I'm sure you're fine, Ace.
Yeah.
Ace is born ready.
Aeis is always born ready, because he is best Protoss NA, as we like to say here in Toronto.
Quite true.
And I'm wondering how this PvZ will go. We've got 3 different Zergs now, and they all have very differing styles.
They really, really do. Yeah, they're incredibly different. Bioice actually... What? Bioice almost the exact opposite of No Regret in that he's absolutely good at absorbing early attacks. He comes up with very, very efficient defenses, and whereas No Regret finds brutal offenses.
Yep. It looks like
Steadfast, on the other hand, neither of those are really good.
Well,
that's a third style. It's an option.
Looks like our map for Bioice versus Aeis is going to be Coda.
Yeah.
So, finally, a different map.
Yay.
Yay. But going to be getting into it here, spawning on top of our Teal Protoss. It is from Imperative Gaming. It is Aeis.
Hey. And over here on the top left-hand side of the map, we have representing Team Ascension's pro team. It is Bioice.
And looks like Aeis is going to be dropping down his pylon on the low ground for now. Looking to be a bit safer. But we'll have to see. Bioice, he's got a drone already headed across the map.
Yeah, and it's not a particularly long rush distance on this map. Yeah, he'll get in, obviously see what's going on here.
Do you think
I think he's trying to go... I think he's going Nexus first.
I think Aeis is, yeah. He's hit 150.
Yeah.
Or
now
again. And still no sign of it. Oh.
Yeah,
I almost thought it was
200. Sending down. That's a little early, but that's fine.
You know, he's banking up to 300.
He's got to take this out there. That's always a little obnoxious. The drone will win. Obviously, the fight.
And the hatchery does go down. Aeis, he could feel it coming miles away. He's going to be throwing down his gateway. Unfortunately, it is going to be a little late, as it did seem. He wanted to go for that Nexus first. Going to be throwing down a Forge as well. Getting his full wall up done for right now.
Yeah.
Sure, you've got that wall, but you could very well soon have larvae in your base.
There's also 2 holes in the wall. So that's an issue.
Is that a hole?
Yeah, he just put the probe through it.
Yeah.
But pulling probes off, we saw this in the first game of the day. Obviously, that was in base. But this is so frustrating to have to do. He's going to end up, killing this, but Bioice is just going to cancel it. And it's a great investment for how long it's annoying.
Indeed it is, and now we see that the first bit of tech is going to be finishing up. Even the Cybernetics core is on the way, and still no expansion. Though, on the flip side, Bioice, it looks like he's preparing to go for 3 hatcheries in total. And, drops down an evolution chamber as the hatchery gets canceled.
Yep. Also fun.
Fun for who?
Whoever. The viewing audience. The viewing audience.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So Aeis, he's in not so great a position, as we can already see. The incomes are starting to differ, though the worker count is in favor of... that drone slipped right through the fingers of those probes.
Did you know there's a neat trick? It won't work if the Zerg is fast enough, but you can tell the probes to attack the thing and then shift click them to A move.
Yeah.
And as soon as the thing disappears, they will attempt to attack, right?
Yeah.
Whereas often the people target on the hatchery, it kills the hatchery and they just stand there.
Yeah. Well, that's a neat little trick.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, like if the Zerg's fast enough, I think they still get it down. But if they hesitate at all, you're going to close the gap and they won't be able to make the Evo.
Okay. Well, looks like Bioice, he's got 4 Zerglings going to be heading across the map. Do have an Overlord coming in from the north. We'll see that actually, 1 gas only has been taken. Though that is fair, you know, he's been trying to get up the minerals for the Nexus. He's been trying to get out his tech going as well, as it's all been very delayed here for Aeis. And on the flip side, Bioice, he's sitting pretty with 3 bases.
3 bases.
He's got his pool up, and he can sit back for a while if he wants to.
Yeah, he's going to be happy with the way things have gone so far in this game. The probe sneaking on out. I don't know if he was seen. Their vision doesn't go to the corner of that ramp.
No, it does not. So that probe actually is taking a, I don't think that's, that's not the normal route. He's taking a very specific route.
Yes.
Trying to make sure he does not get found.
Yeah.
Possibly a pylon.
I'm pretty sure it will, but I'm pretty sure that Ace has decided he's not going to just macro from here.
Yeah.
He's got to go for some sort of attack, get damage done on the other end.
Yeah. He is also going to be getting +1 weapons, and that will be very helpful, especially since, you know, sure, you're behind in a couple other things, but if you can get ahead in anything, it is definitely a boon to have. And Bioice going to be going up for the roaches, and if he can get about 8 to 10 roaches, that could be pretty devastating for our Protoss player, as he's got very few gateway units out at the moment.
There's force field there, protecting the wall. The fragile wall.
Yep. The pylon actually was just a bit on the outside of the force field and does get taken down. Yeah. Surprisingly.
The photon cannon, no force field this time. Sentry wasn't in position. If it had been, they probably would have killed the Lings before they killed the cannon.
And these 3 Zerglings, they're going to be getting in. They will see the robotics facility. And again, you know, you have such a low gateway count. It's if a couple of roaches come knocking on your door, that could be pretty bad. But it looks like Bioice, he'll be giving him a bit of room.
Yeah,
going to be getting up 15 drones right now.
Yeah, exactly. I think he'll just continue going up, get the exact economy he wants, and then turn everything on. I think from that scout, he was like, okay, this is not any form of gateway all in, as we thought it might be by that probe moving out, but this, you're clearly teching up, you're clearly going to continue, so I could just sit here.
Yep. And first Immortal is on the way. Surprisingly, still no roaches are going to be coming out. For Bioice, just 30 plus Zerglings going to be heading on the way. A rather late metabolic boost, but it's not going to be too bad.
Yeah.
Should finish up by the time the Zerglings are ready to pounce on the Protoss base.
Yeah, it should be fine, and having those all out is going to make it very difficult if Ace ever wants to establish a third. He'll pretty much have to commit with his army to move out and establish it.
Yep. And these Zerglings, they're heading down south. We've got a handful of sentries and a single Immortal, but the Immortal is actually on the outside.
Yes.
This is not where you want those Zerglings to be. And Hallucinated Phoenix will actually be able to catch a lot of these Zerglings heading on back.
Yeah, and will he scout the Hydralisk? 13 of them being made.
Yeah.
Sees the Roach Warren, but that, of course, would be quite misleading.
And
yeah, it doesn't seem like he would stumble across that.
Yeah. Groove Spine's on the way. The 13 Hydralisks are now done. 30 more Zerglings going to be on the way here for our Zerg player. And you'd have to say it's looking a little bit difficult for Aeis. Sure, you've got a whole lot of sentries, but what happens when those force fields run out?
Yeah. Yeah, and there's just so many Lings at this point. Going to Aspire as well. There's about 50 Lings on the map, 13 Hydras. Yeah, they can just keep attacking until everything's gone. And once the Groove Spines are there, they're going to outrange everything you have anyway. They could go over the force fields.
Yeah, and right now, Looks like these Zerglings and Hydra is going to be heading right through the pathway. A couple Zerglings going to be heading up this cliff. We'll see a probe. And I'd have to say, Bioice, he's a very smart player. He's probably now wondering, why was that probe on the other side of the map?
Yep.
What could it have been doing? And along with that, Aeis, he was poised to make an attack, but now he can't, as he's got to go all the way back home. And this is a ridiculous amount of sentries.
It is. It is a good amount of them. 10 more Hydras are coming along. The Spire is almost done as well.
Yeah.
Warp Prism now coming for Aeis, as he, I guess, realizes that, well, he's got one proxy pylon, but he thinks he may need others, obviously, or another spot to warp in. Colossus and Blink.
Colossi, definitely a good choice here. You need the area of effect, as all of this is just so...
Yeah.
There's no armor to any of this. They're all light biological units, and the lasers of the Colossus going to tear right through all of it. But the Blink, as you said, that's a little of an interesting choice.
Weird. Like, up until then, he didn't even have any stalkers, really.
Yeah.
It was all his gases and sentries.
Well, he does have 8 warp gates right now, so...
It changed that quite quickly.
Indeed. As we can see already, we've gone up to about 13 stalkers so far. And Mulus, though, are now out for Bioice, and they're going to be heading over towards the main. I wouldn't be surprised if Bioice decided to send his ground force down towards the natural. And we have a 4th and a 5th base being taken on either corner of the map. Mulus coming in towards the main. The probes are going to be under attack. The cannon will go down. Photon overcharger will come down, and it looks like those Mulus will have to run away for now. But on the meanwhile, that Colossus is going all the wrong way. I think it was queued up for the Warp Prism.
I very much think that's the case. Army is moving out towards the center of the map. Kind of strung out there a little bit right now. Mutas do find that pylon and the ill-advised, ill-timed warp in, unfortunately.
Yeah. And we've got only a handful of stalkers here for some reason. The Colossus also on its own. Though it will be able to catch up. Force fields will go down to try and separate the Hydralisk, but with only the single Colossus, you do not have too much anti-air support as well. The Mulus is going to be focusing down the real Colossus right away. Stalker's going to blink it back, though all the Zerglings are now down. The Colossus was able to do that much. The Stalkers may be enough to deal with these Hydralisk and Mulus, but it's looking like it's cutting it close.
Yeah, he's blinking forward there to try and get some of the last Mutas down before they escape. Will take it the Hydras. That does turn out to be a great fight for Ace. Even though the Colossus going forward, I'm sure, was an accident, it worked out really well because the Lings just charged at it. The Hydras, which are slower, were then separated. And those force fields that went down were so far out that the Hydras weren't a factor until later on.
Indeed. And right now, it looks like Aeis, he's going to keep on trying to warp in with this, but this time around, he doesn't have any robotics facility units, and that's going to be a huge problem. As, again, he just needs to be able to get rid of these Zerglings as soon as possible, and then blink underneath the Mulus and get rid of them. But when you don't have the Colossi for those area of effect damage, it's going to take forever to get rid of these Zerglings.
Force field's going down again, another good set of them. But, yeah, it's hard. Their group linking back to Stalkers probably needed to be a bit more subtle, grouping in waves.
Yeah.
And, yeah, the Mutas here with the Ling support on the bottom, the Hydra support at the top of the ramp. This is going to get eaten up, and we have the GG.
You know, unfortunately, Bioice just playing too well there.
Yeah.
And plus also having that +1 flyer attacks, it put in a lot of work, especially in that last fight. Sure, you only had about 10 Mulus, but +1 flyer attacks on those 10 Mulus, especially versus a low number of Stalkers, easily going to get rid of most of them.
Yeah. All right, that'll be a good one.
And it looks like our next match is actually going to be Believe versus No Regret.
Ooh.
For those of you, maybe this is your first time watching a Toronto StarCraft tournament.
Maybe it is.
Believe versus No Regret, there are 2 talkers of the group.
Yes.
They like to talk quite a bit. And I'm looking forward to that match. But first, we're going to be taking a quick break so that way we can get the lobby set up, get our videos going. And we'll be back within about 2 minutes. So be sure to stay tuned.
Cool.